Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag in the back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thanks for coming, everybody. Can you hear us okay in the back? Yes. Yep. Okay, good. Roll call, please.
Sandy Kupa. Here. Chris O'Regan.
Here.
Christy Hilton. Here. Artie Bryson.
Here.
Cindy Valentine. Here. Joanne Shirkey.
Here.
Mark Bouchard.
Here. You got to turn your mic down there, Mike. All right, we're all here. Bills payable. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve bills payable in the amount of $90,744.26.
Support. Okay, motion and support. Any discussion or anything on that? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine. Yes. Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Christy Hilton.
Yes.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Sandy Kupa. Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next we have public comments. Is there any public comments on anything? Want to come up and come to the podium? Want to give them the mic, Mark? Hang on, hang on. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Kathy Harrison. I live at 301 Monroe. Artie and the board. Artie, usually I'm standing up here complaining about something. Well, tonight it's just the opposite. I want to thank you and the board, first of all, for finally getting rid of those bushes on the North Channel.
Thank the guy to your right there.
Oh, thank you.
You're
We're so happy. Second, thank you for taking a ride with some of the women from the Blight Commission and checking out sites and taking notes. I know this will be a long process, but at least you're taking your first step. Thirdly, I have seen the Clay Township Police, in my eyes, ride around the island more than usual since I made a comment, not because it was me. I saw a car the other day, last Wednesday, going down to the turnaround. I saw one around the block twice coming down my street, Monroe, and I waved to him by the mailbox. So it seems like I see him twice a day, so if that keeps up, that's great. And lastly, as I was weeding the triangle by the ferry, one morning about 20 or 30 kids and adults came across the ferry on foot, and they ran to play on our really new revamped playground. So that was a plus for Harsens Island that they chose to come and play at the field. So I want to thank all the association and the volunteers who made it look so appealing. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comments?
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is John Cameron. I live at 2165 South Channel Drive. My question tonight is for the treasurer.
We can't hear back here.
Is this thing on?
Doesn't sound.
Is this on?
Yeah, now it's on. I don't think it's on.
Now it's on. It says it's on.
You got a green light?
Touch it.
There's the mute button. Mute off.
Is it on now?
No.
All right, I'll try and talk loud enough without it. These comments, I have 4 comments here for the treasurer. The first one is, I'd like to know if the tax money for the fire department in Clay Township is allocated strictly for the fire department? I need an answer, yes or no.
It's restricted funds, so yeah. Anything we collect for the fire department can only be spent on the fire department.
That is the money collected from the real estate taxes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
It is dispersed to the fire department, yes.
I want the treasurer to answer my question, please. All right. Now, how much money was spent on the Harsens Island Fire Department, including the building and whatever, during 2017 and 18? Excuse me.
I could not give you that figure. I can call you with that, but I don't have that figure.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I don't have those figures here tonight, but I can call you with that information.
I'd appreciate it if somebody would drop me a line with those answers on. It would be very helpful.
2017 and 18.
Pardon?
You said 2017 and 18.
Correct. Now, every year we have a pancake breakfast here in the fire hall. It's well attended by the people from the island, and I'd like to know where the money goes that's collected from that breakfast.
Yeah, actually, John, that money goes to the Firemen's Association, and we don't know or have any accounting on that money. It goes to the Firemen's Association.
This is the reason I'm asking the question. I'd like to know if the money is spent on the building and grounds here, or whether it's just...
We can definitely look into that for you. But that goes to the Firemen's Association.
Now, I have one question here for you, Artie. South Channel Drive, right in front of Captain Smith's house, the road is ready to go in the river. And if someone doesn't come down there and fix it, there's going to be a car in the river.
Okay, that's actually a county primary road. County is 100% responsible for that. And I have told them your complaints to the county road. It's not a township local road.
All I know is you're the top dog around here, and you're the one that can talk to people.
And I have.
And the river is only about that far from the road right now. And it won't be long before it'll undermine the road and it's going to go down. Somebody's going to get hurt.
By Packy Smiths?
That's all I have. Thank you,
Okay.
folks.
By Mary
Oh, by your, that's, okay. Yeah.
Jack Sears on Golf Course Road. I got a couple of questions. On big items, like we had discussion last time about the fire trucks, does that go, items like that?
What, I'm sorry, what?
On big items like that, on the fire trucks, when they wanted to buy new trucks, do they put big items like that to a vote, for the voters to vote on that?
No.
So you just want to give whatever you got,
Well,
whenever you want?
we put it out for bids, and it's a board decision.
Because the reason I asked that, like last time I told you, I like to sit myself, I'm on a fixed income. I don't get raises, and every time this goes up, the school mills goes up, this goes up, I mean, it starts getting to the point where it hurts. I mean, I wish I could be a gazillionaire and say, don't worry about it, I'll even donate you some money. And the second thing I want to know is, on this kayak, I haven't seen anybody other than two people behind my house, on that old ditch behind my house, going through the kayaks. I haven't seen anybody, and I know last time I had brought that up and I asked you who's going to maintain it, and you said the township, that's fine. But that money that was bought for that, why wasn't there a lot of thought down the road if we need something more important like the fire trucks, opposed to spending millions of dollars for all this stuff? I think the priority should be changed a lot.
Right, that was all grant money from GLRI, Great Lakes Restoration, and we could not use that money for anything else but that.
Well, okay, but anyway, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other public comments?
Good evening. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Beautiful.
Good.
found out today that you fired a guy that's been in the fire department for like 14
Can I
years.
have your name and address, please?
My name's Marty.
Marty what?
That's all I gotta give you, McGrath.
Okay, and your address, please, Mr. McGrath?
Don't wanna give it to you. Don't like you. And they're up front.
So we have a policy and everybody else seems to adhere to it. Do you
But it's
wish
not
to
state
hear
law.
that?
But it's not state law. Don't take my address.
Okay.
So moving on, we had a firefighter that's been with us for 14 years or better. I guess he was discharged today. And I don't live in the township, but my kids do. I just want to know, are we getting rid of every guy we have here that's a good guy? All our good people?
Really
I know
can't,
we don't answer questions,
no,
but
I
you know.
really can't comment on
Can't
that.
comment.
Not at this point.
You know, you want
You probably have more information on it than I do.
to raise the bond. You want 200,000 a year for 20 years, or 100,000 a year for 20 years and get 2 million. But the night before you raise the millage, it's going to come to $4 million.
We're going to talk about that later.
We will. You want to buy new trucks? Who's going to drive them? That's the question I have for you. Who's going to drive them? Who do you have on the island? If my information is right, we lost somebody here recently in a bad accident. Island's not staffed.
We'll comment about that a little later. Thank you. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comments?
I got something. I can talk loud. Beverly Rose, I live on Benoit. I am the head dispatcher for Clay Township. I'm also the wife of the current fire chief. I've watched it circle the drain for 9-10 years now. The Safer Grant destroyed the fire department. It's about time you guys know the truth. Long term was not taken care of. For 2 years, everybody, both sides, had manned stations. Largely that was paid for by a grant. Not out of your pocket, a grant. You no longer have the grant. You have people on the island today. You have some really good people on the island today. But they are self-scheduled. So if nobody wants a schedule on the island, they don't. Can't do it. Can't do it with one. With the Safer Grant, a lot of outside people were working here in Clay, on your island. They had no loyalty to you. They were here for money, and that was it. What happened was all the local residents were driven out that had a part in the fire department. I've been looking at applications for 1.5 years for the fire chief. Not one came from Harsens Island. None. Now the Safer is over, the damage is still here. The hiring practice in the past were little to nothing. There was no background checks done. There was no investigations done. So you got stuck with the lowest of the low. So yeah, Marty, we are keeping the good people. When I first walked into the fire station after George got chief, and I'm an experienced firefighter, I spent almost 20 years there. I thought I walked into a frat house. There was no accountability, no training. They wanted to sleep and have fun. Some of them still do. Attempts to turn the department around to its previous well-respected. You know you had a well-respected department. Both sides. Is spinning wheels because the bad people just want to bring it down. They're angry. Their fun time frat house is over with this chief. The bond being turned down did not change the fact that that island station needs work, that the trucks still need to be replaced on the other side. This station needs a lot of work. In order to go forward, we may have to take a few steps back. My suggestion has been twice now to eliminate medical. Put tri-hospital in place, have them respond to both sides. I understand your concern on response time, but the response time with a manned station on the other side is quick. The ferry stops what they're doing, and they come get the ambulance and the rescue.
You can have somebody on the island in 3 minutes.
No way.
Oh, yeah, I'm a dispatcher. I'm a dispatcher.
Get them on to get across the channel.
I'm a dispatcher. I see it every day.
Not a liar.
I am not a liar.
She gave you those dispatch times for that accident.
Public
If
comment.
you take a step back and eliminate medicals, you can turn all the medicals over to Tri-Hospital. You'll solve a few problems. Manning of the stations will be solved, because you won't need to. If you take a look at the budget, you'll see that payroll for firefighters, duty shifts, is $400,000. That's a good truck. That's a roof. All the unnecessary aspects should be disbanded. You can't say you have a dive team when you have one diver. If you have a dive team, everybody better be a diver. This should free up several $100,000 to get us back forward where we need to be. We got to repair the damage. There was a lot. Thank you.
Hey, Bev, do you know off the top of your head what the response time is to that ATV accident?
I was not working.
Okay, I was just...
Nancy Bonner, Christina Channel. I have, first of all, it takes longer than 3 minutes to get across that ferry. But secondly, Saturday there was a tragic accident on the island, and I'm just curious if we had a manned station.
Excuse me, could you speak louder? They can't hear you over here.
I think it's working now, Nancy. Hello? What I said was Saturday evening we had a tragic accident on the island, and I'm curious as to whether the station was manned on that night. And I'm sure it directly resulted in the response time if it wasn't. So was it manned?
I don't believe so, but we'll be able to address that a little bit.
Don't worry, try again. Try again.
Not right now.
I'm Michael Joy, 1696 South Channel. I retired as a battalion chief from the city of St. Clair Shores. I have 36 years of experience as a paramedic, 23 and a half of those as a firefighter. What you guys have done to this island, this department, is criminal. Nothing short of criminal. I don't know how you justify it. I don't know how you sleep at night. My hope is that someone close to you needs an ambulance, needs a response. So $400,000 for a life, piece of cake.
Where's your application?
I'm retired.
We'll take you.
I'm retired.
We'll take you.
Well, I'm retired. I did 36 years. I did enough. I'm done. I'm qualified. I'm not the problem.
Bev, you're not at the podium now.
Direct it to us.
I'm not the problem here. What you guys have done to this island, the people, the risk you put us into, we'd be better off with all the firefighters and paramedics that live on the island, establishing our own response time, response team.
Yes.
The one guy, the one poor soul that lives here and responds on everything, he has to carry the responsibility and the weight and responsibility of the entire island. Half the time he can't do half the things he needs to do. It's questionable whether there's even an MFR, medical first responder. He doesn't know how to, he has no medical training. He can't go into a fire by himself. He can't run the jaws by himself. He can't do nothing, nothing, other than stand there and watch like a poor soul. So I feel bad for him. God bless him. But your dive team, you once had 14 people who were certified. Where'd they go? Why'd they go? There's a lot more going on here than meets the eye. So I don't know what your intentions are, but it seems, from my opinion, you're intentionally dismantling this fire department. After been for years and years and years, they're building it up, building it up, building it up. So whether they were sleeping during the day, I don't care. They were here. At my fire department, you had better sleep during the day because you're going to be up all night. So sleeping in the middle of the day, I had no problem with that. God bless you. So you're decimating this department and you're putting all of us at risk.
My name's Jody Crane. I'm new to the island as of February. 123 Beauregard, CRA&E is the spelling of my last name. I was kind of excited to see that I had a firehouse down the street. I found out from Channel 4 when they came to interview me, walking out of the market, what's going on here. Who voted to get rid of ALS, Advanced Life Support? Which board members? Can you raise your hand so I know I'm still learning?
It was all of us.
All of you. And you admit that?
Yeah.
On tape?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
We did it on tape.
Yeah.
And before we did that, I think I went to the Harsens Island Homeowners Association twice.
How many people? No disrespect to you personally, I don't know any of you, nor do you know me. I was appointed in Oakland County to a county board, an economic board, but I know the workings of a county. I know the workings of a township. I know the bullshit that goes on. This is nothing shy of bullshit. How you look at yourself in the mirror, I haven't a clue. Whether you can say that people have died since you've done this, who knows? Somebody will die because of what you've done if they haven't already. I'm a homesteaded taxpayer, so I vote. I'm going to do my best to make sure everybody on this island knows what's going on, because so many don't. As I look back on the minutes that I've read and people I've talked to, you've done a lot of shady stuff. You voted a lot of stuff in that people don't know about. So my new hobby will be to make sure everybody knows, as well as the press, as well as the State Attorney General's office. I know as a township you can get away with things that other municipalities can't. But I also know that when people get together and vote or do recalls, things happen. And that is my mission. My kids come here, my grandbabies come here. The short time I've lived here, I've met a lot of people that have become dear to me. I can't argue any points of firefighting. I'm not a firefighter. I'm not a paramedic. Chief Joy is. So just, I guess, an introduction. And Mr. Bryson, I appreciate the time you took with me in your office and meeting the chief, but it's absolute bullshit. And I don't understand why the chief drives around in a new truck that has no lights, no sirens, no lettering. I would think it's a small, you were at Selfridge for what, 30 years?
We have quite, are you done with your comments, or?
No, I'm not,
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
Do I have a time limit?
Yeah, you're past it, but continue.
I bet it was past a couple minutes ago.
Yep, continue.
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. If I may, thank you to the firefighters that are here. Very much appreciate you, and you.
Always staff on meeting night.
Hello everyone, can you hear me? My name is Mark Szymanski. I just moved into the township. It's a great place. I live at 5299 Point Trouble. I have the closest address to the mainland fire station, I do believe. I look right out my kitchen window and I see the trucks coming, I see Tri coming. I just retired from the Warren Fire Department 3 days ago as a captain. I'm an ex-EMS chief in the city of Warren. We run 25,000 runs per year. I handle 128 paramedics. My point here is today is I don't know any of you, but I can tell you, I don't think you understand what ALS is. When I started in ALS in 1980, we carried approximately 4 drugs in the box. Michael will attest to that, okay? We carry approximately 26 drugs. You understand that when a paramedic shows up to your house and you're having a stroke, if there's a time window of 3.5 hours, you're going to probably reverse that stroke with a good response time. I don't know what you know about the medical field, but I can tell you this. You need to be on that scene doing something within 6 minutes. Your chief will tell you that. I know some guys that work with him. Okay, I don't know the man personally. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. But I can tell you this. You people need ALS. If anybody needs ALS, you need it. The reason you need it is because in the city of Warren, we have a 5-minute response time to a hospital. I worked at the station at 9 Mile Advantage. We ran 17 runs per day. 75% medical, 25% fire. We had less than a 4-minute response to 3 area hospitals. So we started an IV, we got them going, we got them there. We saved a lot of lives, okay? You don't have that luxury here. When you get to the island, you have to find out how long it's going to take you to get to the proper hospital. Any trauma that comes off this island should not go to River Hospital. It should go to Mount Clements, McLaren. That's a trauma center, level 1. Look at what a level 1 trauma center can do for you.
They're dead way before.
So these medics that are on this island, or used to be on this island, I don't really know how it all worked. But I can tell you this, any area that's rural that doesn't have ALS is so far behind the times, it's not funny. If anybody needs it, it's you. The city of Warren doesn't really need it. Like I said, we have a 5-minute response time. Start an IV, put some oxygen. By the time we get the drugs circulating in the body, we're at the hospital. That's not going to happen here. You go down on this island and you're not breathing, you're probably a goner. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments?
Sure, I'll say something.
Okay. I was going to say, are you okay? I'm worried about you.
I always got something to say. I'll come.
Got power. First of all, I do have something positive to say. I do appreciate the fact that the Artie and some of the others on the ILW board, they are doing something about the blight. At least they're investigating. Okay, they've made one step. Now let's see if they follow through, and then they send these violators to court, take them to court. I know it's expensive, but we got to do something because this island's a mess, many places. Okay, second of all, point was just brought up. If we look at our taxes and our property tax, we see how much we pay for this, how much we pay for that. We look at the police department, we look at the fire department, and you know what? What we pay for our fire department is disgusting compared to what we pay for other things, such as our police department. No, I'm not putting them down. I think they're doing a good job. But you know, when I run a household budget, if I can't pay my electric bill, I have to take it from somewhere else, maybe my grocery bill. So maybe our distribution of taxes, our actual finances should be changed so that we can have a decent fire department and we can pay for them. You know, it's maybe just an absolute budget jumble. But something has to be done. They cannot run on this minimal millage that they're getting right now. If people would look at your taxes, you'll see the small amount that the fire department gets in comparison to the others.
What do they do with the money that they do have?
That's a good question.
I thought,
you know, you have to have total accountability, not just for the fire department, but you have to have it for your police department, you have to have it for water, you have to have everything. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see a total accountability made public to everyone as to where all of our money is going.
Boya.
Okay, that's all I have to say. Change budget.
One more question, Nancy, about Christie Middle Channel.
I didn't say
it's, you know, your population wants ALS. This is a democracy. So what needs to be done to get ALS back? I mean, you are definitely, we voted you out of office, and you're not doing what the community wants. So obviously we want that service. How does it become reinstated? Well, I'm not getting an answer, I'm getting an
Well, if the board would have to do it, we'd have to raise taxes to pay for it.
Instead, but we had it prior.
Through a grant.
And we can't reapply for another grant?
We did, and we did not get it.
Did you have grants in 2000?
We had grants, or there wasn't grants in 2000, we were not ALS in 2000.
Okay.
Any other public comments?
Everybody has to use the mic.
My name's Stacy Williams, and I live on 205 Beauregard. I've been coming to the island my entire life. I just want to make it clear, you said 6-minute response time? When Jim Newman was holding that gentleman's head in his lap and calming him as he was bleeding out of his mouth, it was 12 minutes.
That was
And
I said
that was my second call.
to the island.
That was my second call, was 12 minutes. That man was still lying there. The police arrived. I'd say 4 or 5 minutes later, the fire department arrived. Last was to come was EMS. I just don't want anyone to believe that a response time is going to be quick based on what you said. Because we stood there with that man, laying there, screaming, bleeding, moaning in pain. I don't even want to talk about what happened this weekend. God only knows how it could have been different. Thank you.
Fireman Mike.
My name is Mike Alderman. I live on McDonald Street. I was on the department for a couple of years. I helped the old chief write the grant that we received. And no way possible was the grant a deterrent to any of the service on the island or the mainland. It increased staffing. There was a plan to have ALS transport, but that was shot down by Tri-Hospital because of the monopoly they run with the ambulance service in St. Clair County. And that's what the plan was to recoup money from EMS transports, and then we were going to be able to keep the safer guys, or that level of staffing. I'm not really sure what happened. Daryl tried hard to do that. Artie said he tried hard. I didn't see any effort from Artie. But who knows what he does behind the scenes. It seems like him and Ken Cummings were really good pals when they were in the meeting, and that Artie had here, and all he did was lie.
Mike,
Both of them.
Mike, I appealed it to the State Medical Control Board, and they shot it down.
Okay. But on Memorial Day weekend, I was sitting outside on my deck, and I noticed some smoke coming. It wasn't a bonfire, so I went around the block, and there was a house on fire. I was spraying water through the window of this house for probably 25 minutes until the first fire truck got there. With the garden hose. There was no way. I think I saw on the neighbor's site that it was a 12-minute response time. I couldn't get
Lazy Lane, right?
I couldn't get from the mainland fire station in my pickup truck to Lazy Lane in that much time. It's not possible. It's unfortunate that we can't get the real truth on the response times. I hope things change so no one has to pay the price.
It's about lives.
Any other public comments?
Can you do 3?
3 minutes? You already had 9. Go ahead, just keep.
I received a forwarded text from a woman who was at the ATV accident on Saturday. Well, I won't repeat what she said about it in her language, but it wasn't good. They needed the jaws of life. I don't know where the fire department keeps them, but they had to wait for them. The fire department showed up, then they had to have the jaws of life come, and then my understanding is then Tri-Hospital came. I don't know, I'm curious why we have a chief that has a truck with nothing in it, why you're not carrying that stuff. I mean, this is, you people better get together after this meeting and figure it out. Figure it out, because this is just crap, you know? How many people live on the island on board?
Myself.
Okay, so you're doing this to yourself? I mean, I just can't wrap my head around this. I cannot wrap my head around this. I don't know. I should stop.
I can be loud, can you hear? All right. I'm Jane Mount, 7533 South Channel Drive. And I don't know a lot about fire departments, and I lived most of my life in Ira, but I know that Ira had a reciprocal agreement with Clay in New Baltimore, that there were times they came and helped. So it seems to me that if Clay has a reciprocal agreement with Algonac and with Ira,
We do.
then you man it here, they're close enough. They can get to you. And we have fire protection here. I mean, to me, this is a no-brainer. So I'm just putting it out there as an idea, something that could be short-term, maybe long-term, but at least we would have full-time fire people here on the island. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Any more public comments?
I am Peggy Crispin, 140
Pick up the
Petoskey.
mic, please.
Peggy Crispin, 140 Petoskey Street. My question is, when we had the rescue on Thomas Hogue and the ferry was shut down for the fire department, having the fire over on the other side, why wasn't the ambulance allowed to come across?
I think it was released eventually.
Eventually.
The fire.
Keyword.
Everybody knows.
It was on site of the fire. Any other public comments? Hearing none. What do we have? Consent agenda, I'll entertain a motion.
Excuse me. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda consisting of the regular board meeting minutes of August 6th, 2018 and synopsis, check reports, the July assessing, building and zoning, code enforcement, and park and rec updates, a notice for road watch. There was no communication or request.
Board.
Okay, a motion and support. Any discussion on anything on the consent agenda? Hearing none. All in favor of the consent agenda as presented? Yay? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next, is my supervisor's report. Just, let's see. Wanted to mention that to the board that all our departments have been extremely busy. In fact, I was talking to John DeBoyer in my office. He goes, he's been working for Clay forever. He hasn't seen it this busy, the water department, in at least 25 years. But fire, police, assessing, building, everyone's busy. In fact, I was talking to Sid, our building inspector, who also is a building inspector at Rochester, and he says we're actually doing more permits than Rochester is. So, I mean, township is very busy, and kudos to all the employees, because we're actually doing it with a lot less people than we had 25 years ago. We are going through our annual audit right now. It's being performed by Stuart Bouvet Whipple, and they are keeping us extremely busy the past week or two, and I hope to have the on-site portion wrapped up by the 23rd, and then a few weeks after that we would have our formal audit report. We are looking at a no vapor ordinance. I had some discussions with our attorney, and we're not sure if we're going to come up with a new its own vaporing ordinance or amend our existing tobacco ordinance. We're still looking at that. We should hopefully have something for our next meeting for discussion. I want to tell the board the sunken boathouse on Green Drive has been removed. We are sending the property owner a bill for the $200 a day fine, and I'm not sure how many days it was. It was a little over a month. We're going to give him a chance to pay the bill. If he doesn't pay it, and I'm not sure how many days we gave him, we will be going back to court to get a judgment against it to force him to pay, and then he'll also be forced to pay our attorney fees and court fees. So hopefully he comes up with some money for the township on that. Spent a lot of time this week, and actually today, preparing the closing for the Colony Water Project bond. We have a set date for August 22nd on the closing. Raft off went as good as inspected. Chief, I'm not sure if he's going to mention that or not, but I was out on the water, spent a lot of time on the water, and Joanne went for a boat ride too. I wanted to thank all our firemen, the U.S. Coast Guard, Department of Defense, Elginak Fire Department, State Police, Border Patrol, St. Clair County Sheriff for their help. I'm sure there's one or two other people we're forgetting. And I think we secured an better command center, a location for the event next year. It'll be closer to there, and the Coast Guard will have eyesight on the actual event, so that will make them happier. Let's see, music in the park and free-for-all Wednesdays are all over this past week. I think it was, we had a really good year with some nice music. Elginak actually stepped up a little bit, and they got their stage in a different location and worked out a lot better over there. And the Elginak robotics team, they built a t-shirt cannon robot, and that was way cool. Where they shot off free t-shirts to all the kids or anybody out in the crowd. Had free hot dogs in Clay Township, and we had art in the park where we had arts and craft tables set up for the little kids, and they really enjoyed it. It was a good event this year, and that's paid for all by sponsorships, and it's a great thing. I just wanted to mention to everyone, we do have a couple concerts lined up in Browns Field, the Association Park, one this Friday, the 24th. What's the name of the band? I saw it. No, that's the second one. Rocksteady, thank you, Rocksteady. And then September 15th, we had 10 Beach Drive. That's the real good one that everyone liked last year, and we had them over on the mainland too. They're a big hit over there too. So I know the September 15th one is going to be 3 hours from 6 to 9, probably 6 to Mosquito 30. I did want to mention to the board too, we'll have to accept that at the next meeting. We received a $150 donation today for the fire department, and then one $150 donation for someone that I got to get to Waterfowl USA for the St. John's Marsh cleanup, so that was nice. Let's see, we have all kinds of Parks and Rec programs going on, and I can't even list them all. Let's see, there's a few. We have a beach class, jewelry class, wreath classes, safety tykes coming. We got a bus trip to Detroit Lions. We got a ton of stuff. And if you're on Facebook, if you like Clay Township Parks and Rec, they're all listed there. All kinds of classes and that stuff coming. To the Blight Committee, I did get a report from our enforcer. I didn't have a chance to even review it yet, so I'll review it and get it to you guys. And we'll have a little bit more conversation on that too. And yeah, like I said, the police have been awfully busy. Everybody's been busy. And yeah, it was sad what happened in that accident. Chief's got like 3 or 4 investigations going on. You want to give the board an update on the I think it was Friday.
Well, as far as the ATV accident goes, that's something I'm not going to comment on. That is still an ongoing investigation right now, and out of respect for the families and that, right now is not an appropriate time to get into it. We have had several other investigations going on, some that you'll be seeing in the paper with the news and everything going on right now. Them two also ongoing investigations. I would like to say, our officers Friday, we got called to a home invasion that had just occurred. Our officers responded in a quick fashion, ended up on scene, gathered information. They were able to obtain the identity of the person in question that we were looking for. Subsequently got with New Baltimore PD. New Baltimore PD was able to locate this subject before he got on a bus in New Baltimore. We were able to apprehend him, and we subsequently ended up finding him with the stolen items from the home invasion. So he's a career criminal, been in and out. So this would be somebody that's going to be going back for quite some time now. But our guys' quick actions, jumping into action the way they did, ended up wrapping this up. So that, and like I say, we've been extreme. It's been an extremely busy summer. Busier than most. I'd say more high-end cases that we've been working on. Some of them you'll definitely be seeing within the news and that. And once I can comment more, then I will be able to comment more and answer any questions at that time.
So the guy, they're taking buses out here?
We have had those issues.
Yeah.
We've actually even set up things as far as working with the drug task force and that, and setting some people up undercover on these buses. And we have made some apprehensions that way as well. It's not a new thing. The buses are coming from here, from Chesterfield. They're coming down from Port Huron. A lot of these areas, and sometimes you get it where they're trafficking things back and forth in that fashion. So these are some of the things that we keep an eye on. Once we do, we work in coordinated with St. Clair County and Drug Task Force, and it comes out quite effective, especially since we are part of the St. Clair County Task Force now. It's kept us in the loop a lot more, so we've been getting a lot more information coming that way, and it's been making our jobs a lot easier to make arrests in that.
Was that on the mainland of the home invasion?
Yes, it was.
All right, thank you, Mike. All right, let's see, next we have the fire chief report. George?
Just so you know, that microphone, it only works if you hold it really close to your mouth.
Good evening. For the month of July, I attended 2 meetings.
Can't hear you.
Closer to July, I attended 2 meetings. St. Clair County Chiefs Association, and then one with the St. Clair County Chiefs. We were discussing lack of manpower throughout the county. We were talking about possibly utilizing our firefighters throughout the county.
Can't hear you.
If a station is lack of manning, or you can't fill a station, we're talking about possibly having them come down to us and us going up to them. Nothing's been put in stone yet, but we were discussing that. Also had some meetings with the Coast Guard, Homeland Security over the raft off, and getting regarding the ATAC system. That's a tracking system that we use to track all our assets that was out on the water. And we had quite a few department participated in the following events during the month: the Circle Tournament Parade, fireworks standby, music in the park, the boat race up in St. Clair, Boats for Vet, Browns Field Day on Harsens Island, and that was it.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving right along. No unfinished business. New business. First thing is a board discussion on service levels of fire department. And I'll start out. Everybody knows, I think, that the bond proposal did not pass by about 100 votes. About 2%. We did have a special meeting right after that, the board did, and we had a roundtable discussion if we want to try for another bond in November or not, what to do, and the board decided at that time not to go for a second bond, and try to get our goals and our critical equipment in other ways. So, like I said, it's always been the intent to staff both stations 24/7. It's been a very good, hard challenge, not because of economics, but we just don't have the manpower to do that. In fact, we're actually talking with the MAF about the situation that the guys aren't signing up for scheduling. Like Bev did say, they are kind of self-scheduled, and we were hoping that after the contract was signed, things would have gotten better, and it really hasn't. So we're having continuing talks with the union to get that taken care of. Let's see. So for the board, I put about, I don't know, 5, 6 different options in front of what we could do, and also our critical needs as far as capital replacement. Right away is the fire engine on the mainland, cost of estimate about $550,000, and the mini pumper here on the island is estimated about $230,000, $240,000. So critical needs is close to about $800,000 for those 2 trucks. And that's the most critical needs that we need right now. So, so we're looking. I want to look at. We did vote to raise the fire mills $0.5 mil. A lot of people are angry at us for that. So we have different options. We can adjust that millage through the end of September. So we got to figure out what level service we want and how we're going to pay for it. And we're going to have that discussion right now, I think, with the board, and figure it out. And don't worry, I'll let you guys put your input in too. So basically, I'd like to open up the board. Does anyone have any discussion they want to start right away with? Everyone asks me, about the taxes that the island pays and the whole township does. Right now, at our mills at 1.625, the island pays 26% of the taxes of the whole township for that. And right now, the island pays $232,000.
So that's why we have no fire department? Wait a minute, millage is how much? 1.6?
1.625, and at that, the island raises $232,000 of the $723,000.
So you prorate our services based on?
If we raised it up to the 2.125, the island would be paying $303,000. So there were some questions about that, so I thought I'd let you know on that. So I guess we'll open up for board discussion. If anyone wants to jump in. And
as was mentioned by Artie a few minutes ago, that, excuse me, the main thing that we have a problem with is manpower. And we thought maybe that with the union that they would put in for duty shifts. That hasn't happened. Supposedly the union sent out an email to its members to start putting in for shifts, but I don't know the response myself as to what that was. Now, there's a lot of reasons why people don't put in for shifts, because they might have another job somewhere, it doesn't work out for them, but as it stands, the main problem we have is staffing. There's 6 different things listed here on our paper in front of us. And I won't bother to go through all of them. I'll let the board, the rest of the board do some of them. But I would like to respond to number 4, which is to, every one of these deals with manpower. We don't have the manpower. That we could respond to medicals by all call. In other words, they put out a tone and everybody that can come to medicals will come to medicals. We used to do that many years ago, prior to 2010, and years prior to that, and it was, you know, a lot cheaper. But at that time, many years ago, we had 25, 30 people on staff here on the island. That doesn't exist anymore.
You keep firing them.
No.
Yeah.
No. Let me finish. Let me finish. I'm talking many years ago when I was on the fire department.
It's 2018.
No, ma'am. Let me finish what I'm saying here.
She's talking when they used to leave the bar for the calls.
This is a board discussion. I will comment on the firing, though, today, that if everybody knew the reason why, probably 80% of the people here would agree that why he was fired was a good reason.
Which one? Like we knew about Daryl?
Yeah, we
Yeah, we can discuss Daryl.
That was a good reason.
Yep.
What that cost? What that cost you?
Will you please allow me the respect to let me finish what I'm trying to say? We let you talk, we let all of you talk, so let me talk for a minute. When you do medical all calls, nobody shows up, but we have to assume that Tri-Hospital will get there sooner or later. So that is one way to solve it, and it wouldn't cost us a lot of money because they would pick up the slack of a medical, ALS, and also this would just be with medicals, not fire. And if we had fire, that's a different situation. So, but every one of these points here is manpower. And it's going to take money or people to volunteer to be fire personnel. So that's our problem, and we have to try to figure out what we're going to do about that.
How long is it going to take you to figure it out?
Another 150 years.
Anybody have any other comments right now?
Yes. Just one quick one. There's been a lot of discussions, and I agree about every time I hear money brought up, I hear you people, president and the board members, you know, oh yeah, we can do anything we want as long as you people are going to pay for it. Well, I got to tell you something. I feel that you people, you up there in that table, are responsible for the management. And I feel that the management is responsible for handling the finance. Now, if there isn't enough funds available, there's more alternatives than raising the tax rate.
Right, and that's what we're discussing. That's what we're going to discuss now.
I haven't publicly heard much coming out of you, Artie, or the board members pertaining to any forward-looking thinking as far as Clay Township and money and increasing the tax base within the township.
Okay. Let me, should I go through all the options?
Yes, please.
Sure. Okay. Sure. Well, I basically said we have 7 options. One is status quo, do nothing. Option 2 is no duty shifts, officers on staff during the day, no medical runs, and lower the taxes. Option 3 is duty shifts on nights and weekends, and we'd have to leave have the millage up to the 2.125. That's for duty shifts, just and try to fill them on nights and weekends. That's when a lot of our calls are. Option 4, no duty shifts, officers on staff during the day, all calls for all medical runs. And we could do that at the lower tax rate at 1.625. Does everybody know what an all call is?
No.
An all call is if we have an emergency, like we do that for fires. Have an emergency, we put a tone out, we have an emergency, this is the address, this is the nature of the emergency, please come. And so it goes out to the whole department, that's why we call it all call. So, option 4 is no duty shifts and all calls on the medical runs. Option 5 is we could have 2 people on call at night to do medical runs, and on nights and weekends to do the medical runs, and it would be all calls during the day for medical runs. And there again, I got the budget at 1.625 for that. I have it where we could actually staff a budget scenario put together where we can actually, this is option 6, where we put the tri-hospital on the island, ambulance, on nights and weekends, no duty shifts, no officers on staff, and we wouldn't run any medicals on the mainland, but we'd have tri-hospital. We wouldn't be able to afford for all 24/7 because it's just too costly, but unless we really raise the taxes, but it would be nights and weekends.
How did we do it 4 years?
And
how did you do it before?
14. Remember,
we never had a tri-hospital located over here. Tri-hospital's always been on the mainland. But this would pay for a tri-hospital to be stationed on the island. And again, that's pretty pricey too. And I think the estimated cost was $280,000. Now, mind you, you're paying $230,000 for taxes. So we'd have to raise the tax up for 2.125 for that. We do have option 7, which we have talked about amongst ourselves a little bit, is trying to man the island and not man the mainland. So that is out there too. So this is what...
You know, I might be out of order, but let me ask
you are, but go ahead.
Thank you. You have a ton of retired relatively speaking. You've got retired firefighters. I know 2, I just got here and I know of 2 retired chiefs. Why don't you get these guys together and figure it out instead of you people that don't know anything about
I'm more than happy.
Paramedics, we've got chiefs, like...
They can apply, we'll give them an application right now.
I'm not talking about application.
You'll hire them back?
Sitting down.
So you'll hire them back?
Sitting down and educating you people. I don't know what you people did before you got voted in, and I don't know what you're going to do when you get voted out or recalled.
Okay.
But you are not the people to decide if my life or my grandbaby's lives are in danger. You're the man that's at night, so don't die during the day. Just have a near-death experience at night. I mean, you people, do you listen to yourself on these tapes?
I do.
You sound ridiculous.
Everything has a price tag. And that's what we have to do.
So do lives. So do lives.
Artie, how much are you worth? What's your life worth?
I understand, but I'll put an ambulance on the end of everyone's driveway 24/7 if they want to pay for it. So I'm using your logic.
No, you're not.
How did it work 4 years ago?
How it went 4 years ago?
24-hour staffing on the mainland, 30 hours a week on the island.
Yes,
how the safer grant? Yes or no?
That's how it worked on it before. And right now we are staffing, Marty. Right now we are staffing the island more.
Who believes that? Anybody?
No.
We're staffing the island more than 30 hours a week.
I mean, you got your truck out tonight for the night show, but come on, Artie.
It has nothing to do with that. So. This is a board discussion.
No, because you know too much. You have experience, you're a firefighter.
Can I speak?
Yeah, real quick.
I heard you mention that Tri-Hospital you were thinking about putting them on the island. There's no way they're going to staff the island with a rig. They don't make enough money.
We would have to pay for it.
Exactly.
Right.
You're not going to be able to afford that.
It's $287,000.
You would be better off hiring a paramedic, full-time paramedic, in an echo unit. You have a mini plumber with 21,000 miles on it. It's still in good shape. You can put off buying the new one.
End of life.
Put the paramedic on there, $15, $14 an hour. I'll get you a list of guys that would come to this island tomorrow and work. I got guys in morning.
Mark, they did it for $10 an hour.
Okay, so the echo unit, the non-transporting ALS rig. Okay, the important thing is to get that medic to you, Mr. Bryson, when you're having a heart attack in 4 minutes.
I agree.
Not where anybody else is coming. I don't care about a fire truck and ambulance. I want the drug box to monitor. I want you to have your leads on your chest. We're going to broadcast your EKG to the hospital. They're going to tell us what to do, and then they're going to put you in the rig. Once they get on the ferry, get on there, they're going to put you in the rig and take you to the hospital. 4 minutes. Don't tell me you can't afford a guy.
They were there, they had that.
$14 an hour. You're going to get a list of guys to come out to paradise and work.
You know, we've been asking for help from the public and ideas, and nobody comes
I
forward
would be willing to
today.
get on some kind of I would be willing to get on some kind of
Right, well, maybe we will. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. Okay, I just met you. Maybe we will. Okay. So, please.
Can I speak?
Not right now. It's not.
We had ALS for 13 months before the SAFER grant at a milligrade of 1.125. So why can't you do it now when you're at 2.125?
There was lengthy discussions about ALS versus BLS at this board, with the homeowners association, at 2 or 3 public board meetings.
With no one on the board.
And you guys know. And the advantage, the problem, we're a fire department. If you are ALS, you cannot engage with a fire.
That's not true. Not true.
You cannot go in and attack a fire. Their primary.
Who cares about the fire? You're talking lives. You worry about the medical. If there's a
We have Tri-Hospital for
you worry about
medical.
the medical. And call for mutual aid.
And who is going to go in and get them in the fire?
Who's going to now? You keep ordering with the
well, if they're in the fire, there's no medical right then.
Anyhow,
there's no medical to bring them out.
And we do have Tri-Hospital responding to all our medicals.
Where's the chief talk? He's the fire chief.
No, he's up there.
Hey, Marty, you live in Ira. Are you safe there?
Yeah, I am.
Do they have, what are they, BLS or ALS?
BLS.
Okay, thank you.
But you know what we got, Artie? A good supervisor.
That's right.
Makes good decisions.
With BLS.
Let our fire chief debate.
So,
we had ALS.
And they got
either one back them, or Clay Township would back them up.
So, anyhow.
So.
Let's move this back in. More discussion. Anyone wants to entertain anything right now?
I'd like to back up to the equipment. Get off the manpower right now. Out the equipment. Manpower is going to be better.
Can't hear you.
You hear me now?
Nope. Yeah.
Anyways,
You turned it off, Mark. Turn it.
I think I'm being
How far
safe. Okay. I want to back up to the fire equipment that we need. Apparently, we did some assessments. We do need the fire equipment. We can have all the manpower in the world if we don't have the equipment to respond. It's worthless. So it's like a quasi formula. Either you have the equipment and the manpower, or you have the manpower and the equipment to drive the equipment. So we need to figure this out. And I don't know if we can do it at this setting or not, but each one of these 6 elements right here need to be analyzed in depth. And if we want to get a coalition of the Harsens Island people together, I am all for it. Okay, we can take a vote on who we want to get Harsens Island residents only to address the Harsens Island issue. Let's get the mainland the same way and get the mainland to address the mainland issues.
You need firefighters to address the issues of fire equipment, not board members. You people don't know, what do you know about firefighters?
I did say Harsens Island people, you yourself had said that people out here in the audience are firefighters.
We need a recall. That'll get you started.
So are you guys willing to have a meeting with these retired fire chiefs and paramedics and firefighters that know how to fight a fire, know how to save a life, and know what equipment is?
Well,
Yeah.
we have a knowledgeable chief in place right now.
Well, the chief isn't saying anything about this. He should be talking about
It's a board discussion. I'm only making statements on equipment as compared to manpower.
Can we form a committee tonight? Can we form a committee tonight out of the people in this room?
I'll leave that up to the supervisor to make that decision.
Well, this is a board discussion for right now, and like I say, we are going to have a lot more discussions on this topic.
Between yourselves.
So like I said, we do have 7 options, and one is to staff the island and not the mainland.
Take your money, use the trucks you have, and get some firefighters.
So, and we are working on recruiting firemen too.
Quit firing the ones you have, maybe.
Sure.
On the mainland, you have firefighters and EMS people?
We have firefighters.
Firefighters?
Yes. And
24/7?
we try, yes.
And they go, they're on the same kind of, call up and say we need firefighter on Thursday, and they volunteer?
Yes.
Just like we call up and say we need one on Thursday? Okay. I just wanted to clarify that. So, for some reason, they don't want to get on the ferry and come over here, or you just choose to have
We
that
don't-
fire station.
85% of our calls are on the mainland.
So we do have reciprocity with Ira and these other ones.
Right, and that's why we're going to have that.
Okay.
We are going to have that discussion as a board. That's one of the options. Yep. So,
Hand up over here.
yeah.
I don't think I'm alone in saying this, that when you first ran for office, I voted for you because I thought at last we have an islander who is going to look out for us. And you're not doing that, Artie. Our lives are at risk right now.
You know what? I would love it. I would love it if we could staff both stations 24/7. I would love it, but it hasn't been done, and I don't see it being done in the near future. So, what do we? Anybody want to be a fireman out there?
I know some people who want to apply.
I do.
Okay.
I'd like to be one.
Apply.
Right there.
You apply and they...
Fire chief, fire.
Okay, well, that's a problem. That's the problem. It takes a year to train somebody. It takes a year to train somebody.
Can't even believe that.
Here is the mean age on this island is how old?
I know.
There's no young people there.
Right.
How do you, what's the incentive to get the younger generation? You make it safe. Right?
Yeah.
No one wants to move here with their children like we just did. Last July we moved here. I've been a carpenter here for 12 years. How dangerous is it for me to come here to work with no medical on staff? How do I get my younger friends and family to move to this island with no fire and EMS protection? It's only a matter of protection.
You say we don't have no coverage. We do have coverage. It comes from the mainland.
The mainland.
Yes. Go ahead.
Artie, is there any way or anything else, any grant that we can get?
You know, we've been really aggressive on our grants, and we are lucky that we actually received one from FEMA. We're the only one in St. Clair County. We received a $104,000 grant to replace the ventilation systems in both stations.
Was there anything that you get, like stabbing out?
That, she called me up and yeah.
Okay.
And then we are hopeful on getting a second grant to, we went in with Marine City and Algonac and wrote a grant for the Scott Packs. And that's a lot larger grant, actually, and we're hopeful about that one because they sent us an email asking us other questions. Basically, they asked us how, if we got it, how to disperse the money. So that's a pretty good sign. But we didn't get actual confirmation yet if we did receive that grant. So we are aggressively seeking grants.
Me again. One more little tidbit, I called my insurance company, and the fact that that fire station isn't manned, it changes the ISO rating for my homeowners, which will go up $300 a year. It goes up to a 9 or 9.5, depending on the insurance company. I have a 680 square foot cottage. Mine's going up $300. There's a lot of homes on your island that go up, so it's just a little tidbit for the tape for those that will watch.
Well, right now it is being manned, so as much as we can.
Tonight is the meeting night.
No, it's not.
Who's there? So insurance fraud? We commit insurance fraud and say it's manned when it isn't?
It is tonight, meeting night. Good meeting. They're here. I don't know. Not tomorrow. Not Saturday, Friday.
I just want to say something. When I moved here from Macomb County in 1998, and I moved on to this island. So I can look at all of you people and tell you that we love this island. This island is a part of our township. It's not mainland versus island. The only reason that my husband and I moved off of this island was because we started having children, and it was too much to get them to daycare and get to work in the morning and deal with the ferry. My husband would move back on this island again in a minute if he could do it.
What about those of us with small children that are still here?
We love this
I've got 2 kids
island.
under 6. If I don't have fire.
My children go to school with your children. I am friends with people on this island. We are doing everything we can right now. We negotiated with the union in good faith. We assumed that when we negotiated with the union and settled on the contract, we would have a better response for shifts. That has not happened. We need people
How about the
to sign up for shifts. The people that are there are not
fired my
signing
kid
up.
for not working a shift that he didn't schedule.
Let her talk.
Let her talk.
Let her talk, or him talk.
We need the firefighters that work for Clay Township and Harsens Island to sign up for shifts. Then we will hire more people, we will train them, and we will staff the island. But if we cannot staff it, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and nobody is understanding. We want to staff it.
Use it and staff and man it. It's not rocket science. Okay, you were elected to work on behalf of the people that put you into office.
Yes, I was. And I come to work every day to work for every citizen in this township.
This board has let so many people go that are good firefighters and trained that the township
that you paid to train.
They let them go over bullshit.
What did you do with all your training equipment that we had? Why aren't you training the people that you have? Where's your dive team equipment? What have you done with everything? Why do you need all this money? Your truck's
Training
run,
is scheduled,
your truck's run,
and
they pump
firefighters
water.
don't show up for training.
I find that really hard to believe.
I'm sorry that you feel that way, but we have sat through it.
How come you guys are talking about
Okay.
this?
Enough. This board discussion.
Don't tell me enough.
Then you
I
can
don't know who
leave.
you think you're talking
Then
to.
you can
There's
leave.
no way you wand at me saying it enough.
This is, you're out of order.
We are talking
You're-
about art shows and
You're-
crafting.
You're out of order. This is a board discussion.
Oh, wait until you see how out of order I get.
Okay. Do we have any more comments from the board on this?
This sounds like a management problem.
Not this time. Okay, we'll be bringing this back up again. Moving on to new business 2, the police digital data technology maintenance renewal.
Fire them all. Don't feel safe.
Entertain a motion.
make a motion to approve the maintenance renewal for digital data technologies for the police department with the yearly maintenance cost of $1,875 for the CAD system. Line item 207768.
Okay, motion and support. Any discussion on it? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next we have Police School Resource Officer Contract Approval. I did send this to our attorney and she blessed it. And so I had conversations with Al Latos, the superintendent, and he's good with it, and our chief. And Al Latos is actually going to be at our next meeting to talk about this program. So, but before he is the contract, I don't think there's any big surprises on there, but entertain a motion so we can have some discussion.
Make a motion to approve the school resource officer contract.
Okay, a motion and support. Do we have any discussion on that? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Christy Hilton.
Yes.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Sandy Kufel.
Yes.
Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Artie Bryson.
Yes. Okay, motion carries. Next we have the DPW, the water plant air compressor replacement, and if you saw in your packet, we did have a quote from Detroit Compressor for $31,225. I was talking with our water superintendent, John DeBoyer, and we told them basically, you know what, you need some more quotes. Lo and behold, they did come up with a cheaper quote, and they are recommending to buy the air compressor from Rehab, and it's a price of $25,583.50. So we basically saved what, $6,000. And as you know, our responsibility for that is 62%, so it would cost us $15,861.77. So, and I'm sorry, what was the amount? What, our share or the amount of the quote? What share? I'm at the total. The total is $25,583. Yes.
We paid 62%?
Yes.
62% of that.
I have a question on the compressor, John. Are they compatible, or are they all the same same make? Apples to apples, or are they
different brands? They're all compatible, yes.
So both of them have the same warranty?
Yes.
First, we need a motion.
This one?
Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the DPW water plant air compressor replacement in the amount of $25,580.50.
Okay, we got a motion. Do we have support?
Support.
Okay. So yeah, they, as you know, the water plant, it uses air to push the water through the filters. So without air compressors, we have no water, and both of them are we were going to schedule it next year to replace it, but they're in bad shape, and I think we were actually, yeah, we're going to do one that, we budgeted originally to do one next year, then the second one the following year, but now we're probably going to do, if you approve it, one this year and the second one next year. Without air, we don't have any, we can't filter water. And actually, both compressors were down for about 8 hours a few days ago, and I know they were having, the water manager was having serious problems, so he'd like to get this taken care of as soon as possible. With no air, we can't can't process water.
So we don't have any emergency units in place?
Well, we have two. There's two.
I mean, I'm saying emergency units. Right. We got two.
Yeah.
There's no backups whatsoever anywhere? What happens if they both go down? Where are we going to pull it from?
We're here. We're here right now. They're both going down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Raise the millage. And as already said, Mark, this was scheduled to be done next year, but he's limping along trying to keep water flowing out of that plant. So it is pretty important that he at least does one immediately.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is budgeted through our capital replacement plan for the water plant.
Yeah, the funding is there, which is when we were going to do it.
Right. So, any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Joanne Shirkey?
Yes.
Cindy Valentine? Yes. Artie Bryson?
Yes.
Christy Hilton?
Yes.
Chris O'Regan?
Yes.
Sandy Kufa?
Yes.
Mark Bouchard?
Yes.
Okay.
That was
Motion carries. All right, that's all we have on the agenda. We have board member comments. Want to start, Cindy?
I don't have anything.
No. Joanne?
No, I have nothing.
Okay.
I have nothing this evening.
How about you, Mark?
Only that we all live in Clay Township. I come visit Harsens Island numerous times. I sell real estate here. I sell real estate on the mainland. Believe me, I feel your pain, I feel your emotions, and I'm with you.
Sandy? Chris? Yeah. This one up? Yeah.
Tonight was an opportunity to express your opinions, to talk about some of our issues. And we're here, I'm here, because I want to be a mouthpiece for not only Harsens Island, but for the township, for the public. I have skin in the game. I live here on the mainland, not on the island. I recognize that the island has its own unique set of issues. We're here today so we can hear what those issues are, right? We've identified, in our opinion, what they are, and we're here to see what kind of levels of service that you want. But this thing it's very complicated, and there's multiple facets of this complex problem. There are building issues, there are staffing issues, there are equipment needs, there's ALS versus BLS, there's Tri-Hospital who comes into the mix, and there's, geographically, some challenges that exist on this island. We want to fix them. We recognize that we want to improve service on the island.
And tap into your resources to figure it out.
Great. But throwing money at a problem without a good solution is wasteful.
No kidding.
Yep. So what we're here to do today is to start these deliberations, prioritize our needs, find out if equipment should come before staffing, or staffing should come before equipment. Find out if we should go back to ALS versus BLS.
Got two chiefs
So
here,
we're
you
here,
have one in Flamingo.
and I support the formation of some kind of an island coalition, as Mark put it, to start assisting and prioritizing the needs of the islanders. But when we get together, I understand you're frustrated. I understand you're mad. But when we make chippy comments and we accuse the board members and other people of the general public of being dishonest, unfaithful, lying, stealing, we can go on and on. I've never found that to be the case with any of my fellow board members. Because I'm telling you right now, I'd rat them out. Right here in public, right on TV. I wouldn't stand for it. The people on this board, when I conduct business with them, always operate above board, with transparency. Now, we don't sling a lot of mud, like other townships, like other cities, and there are things that we have, information that we have, that could destroy people in this township. Destroy them. We choose to take a higher road. However, I don't want to get off on a tangent. We recognize the needs of the island. We want to improve the services of the island. We have financial resources to make that happen. But we have to figure out the best protocol, the best way to attack all the systems of all of the problems I laid before you. That's our job, that's our goal. But it's not going to happen overnight. This is going to be a process.
It better be equivalent.
Hey, you're more than 10 bodies to go get
Great. Well, I appreciate your concern. We're going to make our best effort to spend our resources wisely and to improve the services of the island. That's all I have.
Thanks, Chris. There's your applause.
I just reiterate what Chris said. I mean, our goal is to have adequate fire and emergency response to the whole township.
Big applause.
Not just the island, not just the mainland. You know, at the end of Acre Bay Drive, we got the same problem. It takes 15 minutes to get down there. We have a problem. This is a unique township where geographically it's hard. We have out islands where we have to take a boat to.
And up to 100 years.
I mean, we have geographic challenges. We have 350 homes that you can't drive a car to. And so it's challenged. And, you know, the Chippy Commons really doesn't help the solutions. So that's where we're at. And as a board, we're going to get together and hopefully solve them. And it is what it is. And to back up what Chris said, and I'll vouch for everyone on this board, we truly want the best solution. And we're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. But everybody, it's complicated, it's hard, and you know, everyone says, oh yeah, we want this. Okay, well, when it comes to pay for it, yeah, we don't really quite want it anymore. A bond just got turned down.
You said it was about people just a minute ago, and then you say it's about money, then you say it's about not getting
The
people.
staffing is financed, the equipment is not. Equipment bond was just turned down. And so we gotta look at different options. So, thank you. Yeah.
Artie, I just want to say one thing in response to Mark and Chris. Christie, thanks. The association stands 100% behind trying to come up with a solution. Work with the township, having an ad hoc committee to advise whatever we can do to support that.
Can't hear you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. And we have had discussions with the association for ongoing since day one. So, all right. Let's see. Our next meeting is scheduled for September 4th. That's a Tuesday because of Labor Day. So, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Don't put your house over. You don't have to work.
Thank you.